Hey, welcome. It's a brand new month with a brand new theme, and here we are. I am so excited that you are joining me today to explore the theme of emergence. So, gather your journal, perhaps you have some paper, your coloring goodies. We will most definitely be working with collage today. Um, Yeah, and whatever you have will work. It's always that, right? So, good morning from the West Coast, the Pacific Northwest of this weird old country I'm existing in. I'd love uh, I'd love to hear how you're doing this morning, friends. Why don't you pop in the chat and let me know how you're doing? Hey, Roberta. Hey, Gail. Taliesin. Good morning, friends. Good morning, Kelly. Hey. So excited y'all are here today. We're going to explore emergence. Thought it was very appropriate for a variety of reasons. Hey, Jean. Hey, Jane. I love it. Um, so when you think of the word emergence, what comes up for you? Pop that in the chat. Hey, you, Carol. I see you, friend. When you think of emergence, what comes up? I always think of like when the seeds that I've planted bust through the soil and I could just get a peek. I get a little peek of the greenery and they've begun to emerge. Let's see, becoming more of myself. Yes. Becoming is definitely a word that I associate with emergence. New life, rebirth, spring. Yes. Busting through that cocoon. Spring is sprouting. Little chick coming from the egg. Yes. Yes. Me too. Me too. So today we're going to explore what emerging means for us right now in our lives. And so are y'all ready? Ready to jump in? I'm ready. You know me. I'm always ready to jump in. Let's see. I always have the seed imagery. Yes, for sure. I always think of my seeds when I think of emergence. I've got them right now. I've got a little grow light set up in my kitchen on my pantry shelves where I've started my seeds. And every day, it's like the first thing I do in the morning is I run to see like what's moved, what's shifted, what's popped out. It's very exciting. It's very exciting. Let's see, reveal, stepping out of the shadows, the blooming daffodils signaling the emergence of spring in my front yard. Yes. Yes, my bulb flowers are definitely the greenery's popping out. Something about to come to life. Yes. All right. So, okay. I think instead of making it a journal prompt, I'd like to just hash it out here in the chat box of when you think of emergence for yourself, what comes up for you in terms of you emerging? What is emerging? What is coming up to the surface? What is wanting to break through for you? What are you ready to say out loud? Because you know if you say it out loud, it starts to become real. I'm thinking about mine. Inspiration, independence and autonomy. I'm an artist, reconnecting with old strengths and what was working, authenticity. Yeah, I think what's coming up for me is carving a new way. Carving a new way. I feel that shedding because there is a shedding with emerging, right? There's something that gets to be released in order for that crack open to happen. And I feel like I'm in that shedding of letting go so that that newness can emerge. I love that. Moving into my next level of being fully. Yes. Moving beyond fear and anxiety, trusting the mystery of life. Yes. Yes. All of that is so beautiful. And I'm like, I'm here for all of that. All right. So I'm going to pop our first prompt in the chat. And I'm going to read it out loud as well. What parts of me have been hidden beneath the surface? So let's just take a few minutes on this prompt. Hey, Camille, welcome. We'll spend about one more minute here, and then we're going to move on to our next prompt. Curious, excuse me, I'm curious if anything is coming up for you that's surprising. For me, it's this piece around still being in someone else's shadow and not fully existing in my own light. I don't think I've ever used that language before of being in someone else's shadow. It's so interesting. And yet it feels very accurate. Jane, this first prompt feels big for me. Yeah. Yeah, there could be a heaviness acknowledging the pieces that have been hidden. For sure. Denial about my codependency. That's huge. Yeah. That's huge, friend. All right. I'm going to put the second one in here. So, as we're acknowledging what's been underneath this, it's almost like that really, really fine layer, like when you crack open an egg and there's that very, very fine film. I don't know the proper name right now. I think you know what I'm talking about. It's that really thin layer. And it's like, this is what we know is like just underneath. And so that is what's either what I believe is ready to emerge, right? And now there's this piece about what layers am I currently shedding? So as we break through that very, very thin lining to get to the other side, what is letting go? What is releasing? What are we shedding? The membrane. Thank you, Taliesin. Roberti said, I am buried under a lifetime of manipulation and belief that I need others to want for me what I want for me. And I must challenge that belief. Yes. 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 Where is my risk taker self? Ooh, yes, Carol. Willing to get playful again. Yes. Yes. Okay, I'll be quiet so we can work on this. So what layers am I currently shedding? Oof. Just feeling what's coming out. The need for approval. Oh, I'm witnessing that, Carol. Anxiety about my health, for sure. And I know it's not easy to release those thoughts or worries or whatever is coming up. Um, I'm experiencing some things too where I'm like, it feels a little bit like being in limbo with knowing exactly what's going on and what do we do? Like, what's the plan of healing and stuff like that. And you could totally, like, I could totally get lost and spiral out in all the what ifs. And I just keep reminding myself, like, I'm in movement. I am going to the doctors. I am doing the testing. Like, I'm in movement to create solution. And it has supported me in not staying in that place of worry. Camille, the duality of things. Ooh, that's deep in itself. There's a lot of layers to that too. So, what's coming up for you around releasing. What are you committed to shedding? Like, what are you going to claim? Like, I am shedding this. This first sentence summarizes it. The need for acceptance or for approval. Ooh, acceptance just came out. So I'm going to put that too. Acceptance. Yeah, that need for approval, like what I'm doing is good enough because someone else said so, right? Like I get to validate myself and not look for validation through other people. Like that is such an old bullshit story that I am sick of, and like that gets to go. Um, what are y'all shedding? I'm gonna take a sip of my water. Speaking of health. Self-doubting. Yes. Yes. I think I've said it several times on a podcast that I'm doing with my friend MA. And I've said, and we both said several times, like, this is really the time of listening to ourselves, of really honing our inner knowing and trusting it, trusting ourselves. So I love that. Jane, you said, I'm in movement. Thank you. I love thinking of things like that. Yeah, because and then like I am in solution, right? I am in the process of healing. I'm shedding being small. I'm ready to take up space. Yes. Yes. Attachment to outcomes. Oh girl, that's a good one. Yes. Yeah. I think so many times, I don't know if anybody else can relate, but you get caught up in the results or what it's supposed to look like or what you're supposed to create from whatever you're stepping into, that you just lose sight of having the experience. And it's like really bringing ourselves back to center and being fully present in the moments and not worrying so much about what's around the corner. So we lose so much when we give our power away to that. Stagnation and paralysis. Girl, let it. Yes, we're letting it go. I love it. Fear, anxious worry. Yes, none of this serves us. And it's all very real, right? It's all very real. And maybe this is how we've carried these things for a long time. Maybe some of us even our whole lives. And so, just I just want to say, like, I love these processes. I love intentional creativity. It works, it serves, it supports. And like, it takes time to let this stuff go. Like, it takes time. This is a process. So we don't just do a page, right? We do a page and then we ask ourselves, well, what's the next step to being in movement with this? And then that's how we show up each day. So this is just the beginning, right? We're cracking the egg open today. And then it's like, it's up to us what steps we choose moving forward. Anxiety and depression have manifested as physical symptoms, and realizing self-care means learning to realize when I cannot control situations beyond myself, practicing being open-minded and healing. Yes. Love that. Yes, because it's real. All of that energy does manifest into our bodies. I'm shedding procrastination. I jump in the movement. Yes. Yes. I've got some little strings of procrastination that still try to latch on. And I'm like, no, you can't come anymore. Hey, Nicole. Speaking of healing and health, back from the doctor, now to catch up. I don't know. Can you see the prompts in the chat box? If not, I'll be happy to post them again for you. All right. So I would love for us to think about a color that we're feeling right now. Like, how does it feel right now in your body? If you need to close your eyes and just take a minute to be with yourself, maybe you want to put your hand on your heart, whatever feels natural for you. Just be with your breath. What color accurately connects to how you're feeling right now? Just thinking about these things, the emergence, the breaking through, what's ready to be brought to light, what's ready to be cast away. What color comes up for you? Ooh, spring green. I love that. So I'm going to invite us to move some color. I am living a risky life right now because I'm using acrylics, but I'm going to water it down heavily and just do a light coat because we're going to put things on top of the color. So I'm going to get a really, really wet brush and really soak up this purple. And I'm going to be light. This is already darker than I want, and that's okay. I'm going to trust the process. I'm going to take my own coaching. I'm going to trust the process, and I'm just going to move color. And you don't have to use paint. You could use crayon. You could use colored pencil. You could use marker. I just got all my paints nearby. And we're just moving color. The idea of moving color is not about covering our writing. It's moving the energy so that, I'm going to use Roberta's word, it doesn't get stagnant. It's not just sitting here getting stagnant on our page. Okay. And I'm going to leave this alone because I probably already made it more wet than it needs to be. I'm just going to let that be. And just thinking about yesterday, I did an activity with my Empowered Project women, and the color purple came up for me, and it was a representation of self. And so it's interesting that it's showing itself again today. So just being curious. I love this process because it invites curiosity. There's always wisdom and nuggets within each layer. So just being curious about, oh, well, this color came up, and what's the representation? What could that mean for me right now? Let's see, orange and green. Ooh, that's a fun combo. Lime green. Look at all this green coming up. I love it. Let's see, Sense to Sunrise palette. Dawn of a New Day. Yes, beautiful. So we're just going to put a light coat, and I'm going to let this sit and dry. Blue. Ooh, yes. Blue came up for me yesterday too. Let's see. I feel the best part of meeting like this each month is that we get to witness what comes up for each of us and hold space for one another's healing. Yes, I love that. I love that. And yeah, I just want to say me too. I think it's so, I don't want to say the same words that I always say. It's so inspiring. Yes, that's what I want to say. It's so inspiring for me to witness each of you show up for yourselves every month and to do this work with each other and to share vulnerably and visibly. And, you know, it's especially for those of us who may have struggled in the past to prioritize ourselves or to really value time for things like this. I think it's a beautiful commitment to make to show up every month for this. So yes, that was a long-winded answer. Hi, my name is Sage. I over-explain. I talk a lot. Here we are. Okay, move your color and then let it be if it needs to dry. Let it be. Oh no, you know I really love you when I try to start singing. I'll stop quickly. Okay. And I want you to be thinking about, this is really a layered kind of project because we're working with layers. When we think of emergence, we've got beneath the membrane. Thanks, ladies, for helping me with the language. Beneath the membrane, right? That's what's ready to emerge. Then we've got this layer of the membrane, which is kind of where we are presently, because we are in the knowing of like, yes, there are things that get to emerge and there are things that get to go. And then there's like that exterior of that shell that we're cracking open, right? That releases, because it's just the container holding what's ready to be emerged. So there's a couple of layers here. And so really just starting off with moving some color, but I'd like for us to create a layer that's representative of what's below the surface of that membrane. And we can do this through color play. I'm gonna just grab some magazines and just, I think I'm not so much focused on the images as I am just the actual layering of like maybe a mosaic collage kind of vibe. You can do it whatever way that you want. If you want to actually choose visuals that represent what's underneath, and then just remind yourself what was underneath. For me, it was getting out of other people's shadows and really being in my own light. So like right away, I find this beautiful flower in full bloom. Oh, and then these ladies with light. So, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do right now, but I'm going to focus on what's underneath, and I'm going to start creating a layer. It doesn't have to look a certain way. I'm inviting you to listen to your inner knowing. But if you need support, if you're not sure, pop it in the chat. We'll work through it together. Janie said, I intended to grab blue and instinctively grabbed orange with my brush. Oh, our inner knowing will always reroute us like that. So good. Yes. Giving care. Trying to find a nice word. Giving care to what others think. Yes, that's what I hear you saying, Nicole. We're releasing that. What other people think. Let's see. So I'm just focusing on the layer. And I think I might move mine a little higher because we're going to do a layer of what we're emerging from. Might be doing this a little backwards, but let's go with it. We're creatives. We can pivot. So I'm just going to move my layering a little higher. I'm not gluing anything down yet because I'm playing around. Oh, this is interesting. Sorry, I feel like I hopped around a bit, so if you're confused at all, just let me know. So as I come across things that kind of feel like they're in alignment with what I'm letting go of, I'm just going to start adding that to the bottom. It's interesting the things that come out, even that didn't come out through journaling, but I'm now seeing them come out like this. There's an article about being forever strong, like you're always the person that everyone depends on, but then you're exhausted. Like, yeah, that gets to go. That gets to go. Yes, we're adding a layer of what is ready to emerge, and then the pieces of what gets to go, the shedding, in order for that emergence. So I'm just kind of tearing pictures out now, Camille, and seeing how they layer on top of each other before I like glue anything down. Yes, I'll totally repeat that. So there's you can have as many layers as you want, but there's two main themes that we've been working with, which is what's underneath ready to emerge, and then what are the things that get to go in order for that emergence to come through. And so I am choosing images that got it. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I'm basically choosing images that are aligned with the emergence. And then I'm also choosing the images that get to go. Like I found this image of this woman who's down low and crawling into this really small doorway. Like she's making herself small to fit in. And yeah, that gets to go. Right. So that's going on the bottom. I'm like, no, thank you. No, thank you. I want to stand tall walking through the doorways. My own doorway, not yours. Ooh, this is good. I like when it comes together. Nicole, you said I just turned to a full page that says you will need curiosity, kindness, stamina, a willingness to look stupid. Yes. Oh, I found some baby chicks. That's very emergence. So when I do collage like this, I'm always looking like what story does it tell? Like is there a flow here? Like is there a story? So funny. Tell another story. And so I'm looking at like the language when dreams change, that forever strong, tell another story, not that one. The being small to fit into other people's containers. And then the emergence is, I know there's a light shining, this beautiful bloom here, but all of these like plants. And I find it interesting that they're torn. But you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me, is it the Japanese uh, art of putting it together with the gold? It reminds me of that. Like I want to put it together and glue it where it looks like it has a crack and then take a gold marker and like it's like we're not broken, you know? And I love this piece about when dreams change, because sometimes I think we shame ourselves for these things that are in the shedding, like, oh, I gave my power away, or, I was so anxious, I wasn't present. And, things change, and we get to honor whoever that was and not shame her or make her bad or wrong, and let it go. So just inviting you to look at your layers and see if they tell a story. Do they tell the story of your emergence? Oh, okay, friend. That feels potent. You're crumpling the images of that I'm shedding to represent them as the noise I have felt encased in. Oof. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I feel that. Just having a moment here. Look, it happens in this process, doesn't it? We have a couple moments. Hey, Camille, it says, do we cover the bottom, the layer that we are shedding? Well, I think it's a personal choice. Like Roberta's choosing to like crumple it up to represent the noise, right? I am leaving it open because kind of what I was just explaining, there's an honoring of that version of myself that I want to do. So I personally don't want to cover mine up because yeah, I it's a part of me, right? Whether I release it or not, it's always a part of my story, of that chapter. So I'm personally going to leave mine open, and I'm just going to build on top of it what's emerging. But you can do it whatever way you feel called. Some people might feel called to let it go through putting color on top or covering it up, and that's okay too. I've spent too many years making myself wrong for choices I've made or the ways that I've showed up. And so for me, trying to lean into just the honoring of who I was and acknowledging that I was doing the best that I could with what I knew, what I had, how I felt. I was wondering if you could hear her, Jane. She's doing her morning. Where did everybody go? I was napping and then I got up and everybody's gone. We're emerging, Luna. We're emerging. That's where we've gone. She's cheering us on. Yes. Let's see. One of my images says, I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride it where I like. That goes into the top layer for sure. Yes. Don't tell me where to ride my bicycle. I'm going to ride it where I want to. I love that. I love it. I love that, Carol. Trust in my Buddha nature. Yes. Caroline, you said, I really like the idea of crumpling the images of what to let go. Yes, that was Roberta. Yes. Roberta's got some good ideas. Let's see. It's exciting to see what story unfolds on the page. The power of, right, Caroline? It's like the power of when we choose visibility and we choose to share, because you never know who it can inspire and who it can support. We all have wisdom. We all have beautiful ideas. And that's why I'm always like encouraging sharing, because you just never know who you'll touch, you know? Um and one thing that I do too is that I get curious about the words that poke out. So I don't plan on any of the words to poke out. I just focus on how I want my collage to flow. And then the thing that blows me away is it says to emerge. That's what's sticking out. And I was going to write emergence somewhere just to remind me of this page, but the page did it for me. To emerge. That's beautiful. And then way, W-A-Y, way. So I'm going to finish gluing this, and then I think I'm going to take the gold. I don't know if I have a gold marker, but I do have gold paint. So I think I'm going to fill in the cracks with the gold. I think that feels really good. I'm excited to hear what story emerges from your page. Let me look at my gold paint. Here we go. Oh, I love that. My page revealed water, nature, and the phone number for Virginia state parks where I had already considered volunteering. That is awesome. That is so awesome. Tellison said in this quote, amputee ultra runner sets record. She's a female, by the way, and reminds me I can do anything I set my mind to. Yes, that's so inspiring. So inspiring. I'm gonna let my page dry now. I've added my gold to fill in the cracks in my pots. Um, I am I am pleasantly surprised by my page. I guess I go into this not. I mean, we don't know what's going to emerge, right? Pun intended, but it wasn't a pun. I mean, literally, like we don't know what's going to emerge on our page, and so it's always a mystery, and it's always fun and exciting. But it's really cool when it lands in a way that you're like, wow. And I'm really looking at the ease of my page, like how easily everything flowed, which really shows me like, wow, it's time. It's time to shed and let all that stuff go. Like I'm ready. I'm totally ready. And it felt a little if it felt a little challenging, maybe it's a good place to lean in and feel like maybe get curious about maybe is there a story about it being hard or impossible or what could be coming up that makes it feel a little hard. So as we get to the top of the hour, that blew by. Yeah, I'm curious if anybody, even if you're still working on your page, if there's anything that you want to share that's come through, maybe your golden nugget takeaway so far. I know sometimes it takes time for things to emerge, but maybe, maybe you've got something that you want to share. I'm here for it. And I'm going to share a picture in the Storytellers and Wild Creatives Facebook group. So if you're there and you want to share your picture there so we can all witness your beautiful page, I would love that. And if you're not there, come join us if you want to. But yeah, what's your golden nugget? What are you taking away from your page so far? Oh, I love that, Nicole. It's time to color outside the lines. Yes. Yes. I support that. Shocker. I know. I totally support that. Oh, and I want to mention, because I always like to do a little like housekeeping of updates, what's going on in Sage's world. I'm going to drop a link here. I've also been sending a couple, or I sent an email out about it on Monday. Is my dear friend Jennifer Gregson and we taught the last 2 years, we taught, first we did Creating with Your Inner Critic workshop, which was amazing. And then last year we did Creating with Your Inner Fear workshop. And the workshops are 3 hours each. And we decided that it was such a valuable experience that we bundled it. So we're selling it as a self-guided workshop. So if you feel like you're at a point where you're like, I really get to move forward, but I'm having some issues managing my inner critic or working with my fear, I cannot recommend this bundle enough. So it's over 6 hours of content that you can do at your own pace. I popped a link in. Yeah, it's going to be, we've created it to be super easy. Like all the printables that came with the live experience, you get access to. We each even recorded a pre-event video. You get access to everything that everybody did that came for the live experience, except you just get to do it at your own pace and at your own time. But it's a really, really beautiful journey. And I highly recommend it for anybody wanting to let go of the story they have around their inner critic and their fear and how it holds them back. Because our workshop experience is about mending the relationship and using intuitive and creative tools to mend that relationship. So it's really beautiful. It's nothing like get rid of your inner critic for, in an hour. It's none of that BS. It's none of that jargon, because it's not going to go away, but you can definitely shift your relationship with them. So yeah, check it out. I popped the link in the chat box, and you'll hear me talk about it. So for sure. Let's see, Kelly, you said being my authentic self is clearly in my power. Yes. Yes, we just get to step into it. Yes. I had a story that I picked too many images, then I made a fold out and I love it. And I think I need more. Yes. The too many is like the too much story. It's BS. We get to let it go. Let's see, my takeaway that emerged from my page is I cannot keep winging it if I want my true source self to break through. Yes, winging it doesn't work. It doesn't work, right? It's like, it goes back to that page that I did. Let's see if I could find it quick like a ninja. Look, where I painted my feet. I'm both feet in this year. Both feet into Sage. Both feet into what I want to create, who I want to be, and how I choose accordingly. Both feet in. I have this in my journal as that reminder. I'm both feet in. And what does it take for you all to be both feet in to this emergence? What does that look like? That's what you get to sit with and be with. And if I was to provide any like at home fun work, that's what it would look like. Man, this went fast. Okay. I really appreciate you being here with me. I mean, even if I showed up and nobody else showed up, I'd keep going, but it's sure nicer when you have a group of rad ladies who show up and do the work with you. So thank you for being that rad human that showed up today to do the work with me. Jane, you said my takeaway was that I deserve to get what I want and live a life I love. Yes. Yes. Y'all have probably heard me say it before. No matter what your faith may or may not be, like I truly believe we get one opportunity to be the human we are today. I get one opportunity to be Sage Adderley. And so, I mean, at the end of this ride, do I want to look back and be like, oh man, I wish I would have done that, but I cared so much about what people thought. Like, I'd be so mad at myself. Like, you're at the end of the ride. You can't go back now. So, like, we know this right now. We know present day what we get to do to live that beautiful, authentic life. No matter what is going on around us, we still get to choose us. So, yeah, I'm really grateful for this. So if you feel called, I'd love for you to come in the Storytellers and Wild Creatives page on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, and share your page in the group. And if you're not on Facebook and you're like on Insta, which kind of the same, in a way, you can tag me. I'm Coach Sage Outerly on Instagram. Or if you're not on the socials, you can always email me and be like, yo, this is the page I made. Some people do that. And I love that. I love seeing what you created. So Jeannie said, I'm deep into it over here, but I'll share my pick later. Okay, good. Yay. I know. Y'all know me. I work fast, and I'm not shaming myself. That's who I am. So I love you. Take really good care of yourselves. You matter so much, and you get to choose you first. And then we get to take care of all the people we love in life. But please choose you first in whatever way that looks. And I'll see you, of course, the first Wednesday of April. I believe that's April 2nd. But yeah, if you want to connect with me, you can always reach out through email or my Facebook group or Insta. I love connecting. Y'all are great. You're welcome, Kelly. All right, friends. I'll see you soon. Good job. Keep going. Emerge.